Shabbat Shalom, Yashala, Shabbat Shalom. Dawada Ban Yashala coming out with another episode of Bringing Out the Precepts. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Abanawa Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakah Kadash, True Father's name, Deliverer and Savior's name in ancient Paleo Hebrew, Lashawan Kodash. Hope everybody's doing most high blessed on this holy Sabbath. I'm going to come out with the part 2 of your last lesson. Measure thou the time and signs diligently. Measure thou the times and signs diligently. First precept I'm going to go into, let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 4. Ezekiel 3 and verse 4. And it reads, And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. Verse 5, For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech or a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Okay, so same thing as the Messiah said in Matthew's 10 and 5 and 6 and Matthew 15:24. He's only sent for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he's commanding the true prophets out here that's pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth directly to direct that message to the children of Israel, not the other nations, meaning the ones with the strange speech or the hard language. Verse 6, Ezekiel 3 and verse 6. Not too many people of a strange speech or of a hard language whose words cannot understand. Surely, had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. Verse 7, Ezekiel 3 and verse 7, But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Ezekiel 3 and verse 8, Behold, I have made my face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. Drop down to verse 10, Ezekiel 3 and verse 10. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears. Ezekiel 3 and verse 11. And go, get thee to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, Thus saith Yahweh thy power, whether they hear or whether they forbear. Point blank period. So the message is directed to you Israelites out there, the true black, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole, Indian, and Negroid descent here in Babylon the Great and throughout the four corners of the earth. Again, the title of the message is part 2, Measure that time of the signs diligently. Okay, let's go into the Apocrypha. Get a few precepts in this part 2 of this Bringing Out the Precepts series. We're going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, and I'm going to read from the 15th verse. Wisdom of Solomon 7 verse 15. This is out of the Apocrypha. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 15 reads, The Most High hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as it meets for them. So like I'm having an issue with the video. So let's keep it moving. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 15. The Most High hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meet for the things that are given me. Because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom, and directeth the wise. Wisdom of Solomon 7 verse 16. For in his hands are both we and our words, all wisdom, also all knowledge of workmanship. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 17. For he has given me a certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 18. The beginning, the ending, and the midst of all the times. The alteration of the turning of the sun and the changing of the season. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 19. The circuits of years and the positions of the stars. Verse 20. The natures of living creatures and the fury of wild beasts, the violence of winds and the reasoning of men, the diversities of plants and virtues of roots. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 21. For all such things are as either secret or manifested, them I know. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me. For in her is an understanding, spirit holy. Only one, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the things that is good quick, which cannot be lettered, ready to go good. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 23. Kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all the understanding. Pure and most subtle spirits. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. Verse 25. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence flowing from the glory from the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled things fall into her. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in her, she maketh all things new, and in all ages enter into holy souls. She maketh them friends of the Most High's and prophets. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse 28. For the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Verse 29. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the orders of the stars. Being compared with the light, she is found before it. Verse 30. For after this cometh night, but vice shall she not prevail against nothing. Salakia. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. So we understand wisdom is the breath of the Most High. Wisdom is what gives you the understanding of all the precepts in the Holy Bible. You know, and how do we obtain wisdom? Coming back to the law, statute, commandments of the Most High God, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, point blank period. Let's go to get another one. Second Esdras. The book of Second Esdras. Out of the Apocrypha. Just want to finish this part 2 of this lesson. Second Esdras 2, and I'm going to read verse 26 through 31. Second Esdras 2 and verse 26 reads, As for the servants whom I have given thee, they shall none one of them perish, for I will require them from amongst thy number. Second Esdras 2 and verse 27. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Second Esdras 2 and verse 28. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. 2 Esdras 2 and verse 29, my hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. And we know hell is a condition. 2 Esdras 2 and verse 30, be joyful, O thy mother, for thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith Yahweh. 2 Esdras 2 and verse 31, remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth, and show mercy unto them, for I am merciful, saith the Lord Almighty. 2 Esdras 2 and verse 32, embrace thy children until I come and show mercy unto them, for my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail. Come. Okay, this is all directed to the children of Israel. We have to measure the time diligently, precept upon precept, line upon line, from Genesis to Revelation, to include the Apocrypha. Okay, we have to read and study and measure out the time diligently. Staying in 2nd Esdras, let's go to verse 5. 2nd Esdras verse 5, and starting from the top, verse 1. And it reads, nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. Okay, read it again. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the day shall come when they will dwell upon the earth, which is all of us that are alive here on earth now, shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden. We know the famine of the word is coming, and the land shall be barren of faith. 2 Esdras 5 and verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now seeth, or that thou hast heard long ago. Verse 3. And the land that thou seest now to have root shalt thou see wasted suddenly. Read it again. Verse 3. 2 Esdras 5 and verse 3. And the land that thou seest now to have root shall thou see wasted suddenly. We know that's destruction here coming to Babylon the Great, the United Snakes of America. 2 Esdras 5 and verse 4. But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon twice in the day. 2 Esdras 5 and verse 5. And the blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. We know the time of trouble, and the times of trouble coming is Jacob's trouble. And that's what we're heading to right now. And these all prophecies are coming to pass in Babylon the Great, the United Snakes of America. Everything's happening so fast, and this world is just spinning out of control. We got to measure down that time and signs diligently. Let's move on to 2 Esdras 6 chapter. 2 Esdras 6, and I'm going to start reading from the top. 2 Esdras 6 and verse 1 reads, And he said unto me, In the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or the wind ever blew. Verse 2, before it thundered and lightened, or even the foundation of paradise was laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or even the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitudes of angels were gathered together. Verse 4, or even the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Zion were hot. The ere the present year was sought out, and or even ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned before they were sealed, that have gathered faith for a treasure. 2 Peter 6 and verse 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. So we understand is a beginning, and we have the midst of it right now that we're going through right now in Babylon the Great, but it's going to be ended by the Most High and Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. 2 Peter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Okay, asking the questions. What should be the times or the sunders of times? When shall be the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob held first the heel of Esau. 2 Peter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we have to understand who's in power right now here in Babylon the Great. Who's running the earth right now? We know it's Esau, so-called Edomites. So to gain understanding, let's read it again. 2 Peter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we understand this is a transition of power. From the Edomites, it'd be the end of the world. Jacob, being the 12 tribes of Israel, will be ruling in the kingdom to come. Point blank period. Measured out the times and signs diligently. Let's move on. Staying in 2nd Esdras. Let's go to the 8th chapter. 2nd Esdras 8, and reading from the top. And he answered me, saying, the Most High has made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Read it again. 2nd Esdras, the 8th chapter, and verse 1. And he answered me, saying, the Most High have made this world for many, but the world to come for few. 2nd Esdras 8 and verse 2. I tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou ask the earth, it shall say unto thee that it is given much mold wherever the earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present earth. 2nd Esdras 8 and verse 3. There be many created, but a few shall be saved. Read it again. 2nd Esdras 8 and verse 2. And I will tell thee a similitude, Esdras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it's given much mold whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. Verse 3, 2nd Esdras 8 and verse 3. There be many created, but a few shall be saved. And we know it's a small retinue of Yasha Allah. Israel is going to be saved and redeemed from Babylon the Great and throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay? There be many created, but a few shall be saved. Let's go back into the New Testament. Let's go to Matthew 24 and verse 13. Matthew's 24th chapter, and I'm going to start reading from the 13th verse. And it reads, but he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. But he that shall endure unto the end the same shall be saved. But you hear these false Christians talking about that everybody's saved and everybody's blessed here. We haven't endured anything yet. We're still in the beginning of sorrow. Read it again, Matthew 24:13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Verse 14, St. Matthew's 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Right? Verse 14 again, and this gospel of this kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then the end shall come. Talking about what do we have to endure to the end. Let's go to Jeremiah 30 and verse 7 and get understanding. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7, it reads, Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. Read it again, Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. What do we have to endure to the end? Jacob's trouble. The tribulation that's coming here to this earth that has never been here. As the Messiah explained it in Matthew the 24th chapter. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Come. Can't make this up. Measure thou the times and signs diligently. Precept upon precept, line upon line. Okay, the truth prophets pushing this truth in sincerity. We know. We read the precepts in the Holy Bible. The Messiah doesn't know the time, neither the holy angels, neither do the holy prophets. But we do know what's coming out here. Let's go get a couple of more precepts back into the Apocrypha, 2nd Esdras 16. I'm going to read from the 74th verse. 2nd Esdras 16 and verse 74 reads, Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Read it again, 2nd Esdras 16 and verse 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. 2nd Esdras 16 and verse 75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. Read it again, 2nd Esdras 16 and 75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. 2nd Esdras 16 and 76. And the guide of them who keep my commandments. Read it again. 2nd Esdras 16 and 76. And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith Yahweh thy power. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. 2nd Esdras 16 and verse 77. Woe unto them that are bound with their sins, and are covered with their iniquities, like as field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. 2nd Esdras 16 and 78. For it is left undressed, and it is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. Okay? It is left undressed. Okay? No protection. Being found naked here without the law, statute, commandments. and it is cast into the fire to be consumed therein. That lake of fire coming to Babylon the Great, the United States of America. So you Israelites, measured out that time diligently. Come back to the law, statute, commandments. We need to endure to the end. Endure Jacob's trouble to the end, all the tribulation and affliction and persecution that's coming to this land, as you see. Coming to pass out here in Babylon the Great. Shabbat Shalom. I hope this is edifying. I just want to come out and finish this part 2, measure down that time and signs diligently. Hope everybody stay most high blessed. And with that I say, Shalom.